It's January. That means a lot of people out there are attempting to make good lifestyle changes, and that's a great thing. One of those lifestyle changes might be to start running. So here we are today with our top five recommendations for new runners. Liam, why don't you start?
Great. So my first one, like number five on my list, is could be a bit cliche, but it's really to just have fun and find a way to make running fun. Because a lot of people, especially if you're starting for the new year, you say, "Oh, I need to get healthy. I need to lose weight. I need to." And it would be so much better psychologically, in my opinion, if you said, "I want to," which of course is easier said than done. But I think finding a way to make running fun and keeping kind of curious about the whole process. So it could be listening to a podcast like you hopefully are right now, or watching some videos, or just talking with friends about it who also enjoy running, not friends who hate running. That probably won't help. But yeah, finding a way to bring enjoyment and exercise together is a way to really stay motivated and enjoy it.
Spoiler alert, that may have some overlap with one of my recommendations. My number five is a little bit different from what you might expect right out of the gate. But my number five tip is if you don't like running, do something else with your time. So a lot of people want to have the result of running or the many results, the many benefits of running, but they really don't like running, in which case I'd say find what you like and just do lots of that. If you like playing badminton, then find a badminton group and play lots of badminton. Or if you like something that's similar to running, like hiking, then just do lots of hiking. Go hiking every weekend and then use the elliptical machine at the gym. And and you can do some running, but if it's really not your thing and you have to use a lot of willpower to do it, then it's not going to be sustainable. So find what you like. And a good sign is if you should be doing other things and you go to do this thing instead, that's a good sign that this is a good fit for you. So I often find
Mm.
myself when I should be doing work or cleaning or something like that, I'll be like, screw it, I'm just gonna go for a run instead.
But yeah, I think that's a very good point. Some people might like race walking. That's another one I would just throw in there. Running's not for you. Speed walking. On that note, my number four is to run slow. So a lot of people they get so caught up on this idea of every time I need to be faster or go farther, or I need every race I need to PR, things like that, and they're just not comfortable with being slow. And I think there's huge benefits. I guess people have different opinions about huge benefits to running slow. And I spend most of my time running slow. It's more of like I guess we've talked before, like a meditation kind of feel. After a nice slow run, it really just makes me feel more relaxed instead of feeling like I'm exhausted and beat up every time. So I think learning how to make a lot of your running slow in a way that is sustainable is a very good thing you can try to do with your running, which is also much easier said than done.
That kind of ties into my number four, which is don't overcomplicate it. A lot of people who haven't even started running, they'll see that I've been running for a few years and they'll ask me, how, what's the best way to moderate your breathing while running? Like they haven't even taken their first step yet, and they're already asking about stuff like that. And I just tell them it's not important, right? Like,
Yeah.
I've been running pretty regularly now for 2 years, and I haven't even gotten to the point where I care at all about how I'm breathing. Just breathe naturally. It should be something that is just natural. And it's only when you get to like really, really fast paces where there's no way that you can have a conversation that you should be like if you're trying to actually win and stuff, but that's that doesn't even have to be on your radar. Like only a very small portion of runners will actually place. So you should focus on the other reasons for doing it. And if you run slow enough, like for full marathons, we'll usually run at a pace where you can have a conversation with someone else, or maybe intermittently. But you really don't need to know like the best shoes and uh, I don't know like how your feet should land. Like just go and do it, right? That can all come later. Don't worry about that for now. Just get into the habit and hopefully like it. And if you're not, do something else.
Yeah, completely agree with that. For my number three, kind of on a different note, since I just said run slow, my number three is run fast, but intentionally. So not just run fast all the time. I think a good mix of a little bit of fast with a lot of slow is typically what is best for most people. I'm not talking about elite runners. Like you said, it's a very small amount of people who place, and that's not what we're here to teach people about. As I don't think either of us have ever been an elite runner, and it's unlikely that we will become one in the future. But yeah, find a some kind of routine like a track workout once a week or something like that. Something that's kind of a bit more intentional, like okay, today I'm going to run fast. Then you have some nice slow runs to give yourself time to recover. It's very easy, in my opinion, and other people's opinions, to get stuck in just one of those. Every time slow, 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 or every time faster, 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 faster. But finding the right balance of comfortable recovery kind of pace, as they call it, and then maybe once a week, or if you're really into it, a couple times a week, you can pick up the pace a bit, do some track work, and work on speed intentionally for those big races, if you do intend on getting faster.
I'm just getting to the point now where I'm doing kind of a mix of runs. Like this morning, I did a 5K speed run on the treadmill. So I try to get to as close to 5 minutes per kilometer as I can, and then gradually get faster and faster. So I should be able to break 5 minutes pretty soon. And then at lunch, I do a 10K pretty relaxed run just to get out of the office. And then on the weekends, I'll do longer runs, which are even slower. And then I'll do social runs where we're mostly just chatting. I did a year of the snake route.
Go with.
It was like a 4 kilometer warm up, and then 7 kilometers of basically walking through trees, and then 4 kilometers back to where our bags were. But it looked pretty cool. You can see it on my Instagram. Yeah, so Liam's last two recommendations were run slow and then run
Run slow
fast.
and run fast.
To completely confuse you, my next recommendation is don't worry about your times. So
Oh
I
no.
see a lot of people as soon as they start participating in events, they'll start comparing their times, and that's great. It gives you a goal and gives you something to keep track of, and also to track your own progress. But it's not something to be obsessed with. And at least if you want to make it more of a hobby. If you're really, really into it, which you're probably not if you're just starting out, then your time should be something that you're just aware of. And of course, you want to get faster and faster, but just by running more often and more regularly, you'll naturally get faster. So don't sweat it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that as well. And
I think
my
we should
number
disagree
two,
on more things.
you know what? I disagree with
This
you.
is,
You're never going to get faster. No, that's not.
I
Yeah,
disagree with your disagreement.
I also disagree with my disagreement.
Yeah. I'm going to
Uh,
disagree with your next one, no matter what it is.
Perfect. I think that you should not give me $10 for Christmas.
That's your number two.
Wait, my number two is learn to listen to your body and how
Mm,
to respond and I guess research accordingly. So quite often, once you do start running a lot more, you might feel some discomfort. Many of my friends, including myself, have had things like some shin splints or knee pain, or I guess
mm,
IT band. Those are words you often hear a lot once you start to talk about injuries. And a lot of people, they'll run until they're injured, stop until it doesn't
mm,
hurt, start again exactly the same, not changing anything, and get injured again, and just say, well, I guess running's not for me. Maybe it's not for you, but there could be another reason. So try and figure out, when does your body start to hurt? Maybe it hurt 3 kilometers ago, but you thought no pain, no gain, and you made it a lot worse. And as soon as it
mm.
starts to hurt or there is some kind of pain, try and think about where and why it might be hurting. I am not a medical professional, so I'm not here with those answers. And everywhere you search online will give you a different answer. But searching is a great start, and trying to learn about why your body might not be working as ideally as you'd like it to is very beneficial. It could take a lot of time to do all the research, but there are huge benefits, and you can keep running, hopefully pain-free as long as you follow up and keep learning about the signs that your body is trying to tell you, because you are working together with yourself.
I found something that I can disagree with there.
Yes.
So after you do hypertrophy training, so that's like muscle strength training. In the case of running, you're probably doing squats. And so after you do squats, a lot of people will say to take 3 or 4 days off. So
Mhm.
I disagree with that. If you're like really, really sore, you can barely walk, then maybe take a day off. But if your legs are just a little bit stiff, then you can actually still run. And once you get going and your muscles warm up, then you'll actually be able to run, maybe not at a normal pace, but it's actually good for the muscles of your leg to actually use them
Right.
rather than to just sit on the couch for 4 days. So, in the case where you have leg pain from hypertrophy, then I still recommend that you run. Keep it light and maybe not super long, but still, at least, at the very least, do lots of walking,
Yes, yes,
like a
I
good five
completely
k
agree with
kilometer
that.
walk.
And I did kind
Ah,
of mean to include that in the middle of mine. Oh no, I agreed again. But yeah, if you take a week off because your knees hurt and you come back after sitting on the couch, your knees probably aren't going to get better. So I do have
yeah,
to agree there's something that should be changed.
not all pain is created equal. There's some pain that you should probably lay off on the
Yeah,
training if it happens, but some pain you can still train with, and mm, taking time off may not even help it at all. So ask a doctor if you're not sure.
I disagree.
I don't. Where are
Okay,
we?
you win.
Number two?
Yes.
Yeah, number two is have fun with it. So this overlaps exactly with your fifth one, especially when you're first running, when you're first starting out. Find a way to do it that's fun for you. Like if you like time alone, then just go run alone. And if you like the social aspect of it, then you can go socialize. Uh, or you can do a combination and grab some earphones, put on some music you like or whatever you like to listen to, and just don't make it something that is going to be stressful that you have to use willpower to get up and do. Try to remove as many barriers as possible. Like I really don't like running at night. I find it just doesn't work well with my energy level. Like the whole day's over and then I go and run intervals for an hour. It takes me much more willpower to go run at night than it does in the morning. Like I can easily run a half marathon before breakfast, and it just feels normal to me. So I focus on what is easier for me and more enjoyable because that's just when my energy is higher. And it also helps that most running events are in the morning, so that's a good reason to train in the morning. But if you like running at night, then don't listen to me. Just do whatever works for you. And uh, find a running group that you enjoy spending time with. Like if you meet one and you don't really vibe with them, then try another one. Yeah, just do some experimenting and make it something that you look forward to.
Yeah, I wish I could disagree, but as I already said, have fun is number one or number five. It's hard for me because I do disagree about your opinion on night running. Because I personally enjoy night running in the summer.
Hmm.
I think for me that's a very, very enjoyable time of day.
New rule, we're going to try to disagree on everything each other says.
Perfect. This is a great episode of Whose Line coming up.
You
Um,
agreed.
right. Oh, I lost already. Okay, well, my number one um, is to fix one thing at a time, or at least
Hmm.
focus on one thing at a time. Try one new thing at a time while you run. Like we mentioned, maybe you had knee pain, or maybe you want to try new shoes, you care about your breathing. There's so many different things that affect running, and if you focus on one every day, it's going to take a long time to go through them all, yes, but if you focus on everything at once, unfortunately, and for the average person, our brain is not that powerful. If you want to say, okay, I'm going to fix perfect breathing, perfect pace, my foot's going to land exactly this way, this foot, my knee at this angle, everything this angle, I'm going to think about this while talking to someone. If you do everything at once, it's so difficult to maintain. So really just for one run or for 1 kilometer, just choose a time and focus on one thing at a time is something I think is really beneficial. So, what is your maybe your biggest weak spot or the thing you want to improve the most? Maybe it's breath control. So, okay, I'm really gonna research about how to breathe for a week and get into that. And then maybe one week you focus on cadence, you focus on ankle mobility, whatever it may be. Don't try and change it all at once, because if you do change it all at once, maybe one of them work and the others don't. You don't know which is really best. So gotta trial and error to find the best patterns and the best habits for your running.
I disagree. I think you should try to change everything all at once.
Even your clothes while you're running.
Yes, constantly.
Yes.
And that brings me to my number one, travel. If you can travel and run and combine the two, then I'm pretty sure you'll find pretty quickly that they are mutually addictive.
Mm.
And if you have some running event, either half marathon or whatever, in another country or another part of the country you live in, and that's something to look forward to, that might give you motivation to train for it, to get off the couch. And also you can use it as really an excuse just to go somewhere and have fun. It makes it more of a destination. So if you go to Spain, yeah, you can do sightseeing and eat Spanish food, and I guess they call it tapas there. And yeah, you can do all the stuff, but if you have a marathon that everything else revolves around, then I think it's much more exciting. And you'll find that when you tell people about it, like, oh, I'm going to Spain, they'll be like, okay, cool, Spain. But if you're like, oh, I'm gonna go to Spain and run a marathon, they'll be like, oh, that's so cool. So it makes it more interesting for other people, but more importantly, it makes it more interesting for you. And once you've run, especially a full marathon in a place, then you really, really remember it. You have a much deeper impression than if you just went and visited it and just kind of walked around. Like you will remember that morning for the rest of your life.
Yes, I do disagree that traveling and running is a good thing, because the referees will get mad at you, and you'll probably get a foul called if you're playing basketball. But
Mhm.
in general, running while traveling is a good habit, I think, as obviously we talk quite a lot about on this podcast.
I thought you were gonna say like traveling away from the running course will get you disqualified.
That's true. Well, usually it does. That's a big issue in some places now in the Mexico City Marathon. I read an article about that, but maybe that's another story for another time.
Oh, there were cheaters or a cheater.
Uh, I guess the registration has maybe been 6 times as much as it used to. Now there's 30,000 runners, and 11,000 of them were disqualified, because they had a series of medals. So you have to run for 6 years to collect I guess, each medal, and they all go together. So some people, they were too busy, didn't want to train. They just signed up just to get the medal, and they just skipped the medal. And that happened to be 11,000 people did that. So they're making a lot of money because registration numbers are huge, but disqualifying 11,000 people is quite a lot of people.
And that makes other people not take that particular race seriously
I
if they have
I
that many
think it
people
would have
cheating,
an effect.
especially if they let them get away with it, right? Like if it's a
Right.
one-time thing and they get their act together and don't let it happen again, then that's another story. But that's interesting.
I,
That's
yeah.
probably some kind of historical record for the most number
Yeah.
of cheaters. I wonder if they
The
planned it
most
all. If they're like,
EMS.
all right, here's the real way to go.
Yeah,
Follow me.
probably. Because I think it's a great business decision because now they don't have to do all the work because people don't run the whole thing and they still get all the registration fees. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's a good business.
could make a freestyle course, kind of like all you can eat, all you can run marathon.
Oh, they have something like that. It's like you have 24 hours. How far can you go? But there's like a decided track. Usually on a track. I think that would be mentally grueling, but that's just my opinion.
Well, that's all for the episode. Goodbye. Say bye, Liam.
Goodbye, Liam.